and welcome to INCAP, or International Cultural Arts Program, where we learn about different cultures, holidays, and people through the most influential, creative, and iconic individuals in their industry. My name is Amber Mackenzie, and today we are meeting with the amazing Frankie. Frankie has been in shows such as Modern Family, Grace and Frankie, which is ironic, and also This Close and Raymond and Lane. And he has truly worked his way up the Bop to the Top ladder, and he is now starring in High School Musical, the musical, the series, as Carlos, and it is absolutely amazing. I love that show so much. I would love to have a family like you guys do on the show. And season 3 is set to premiere on July 27th, which I am so excited. And without further ado, I give you Frankie. Hi, Frankie. How are you doing today?
I'm good. How are you?
I am doing great. It's great to finally meet you in like real context, not just in Target as we met.
I love it.
Is that like one of the weirdest like places that you've met somebody just at like a Target?
No, I feel like Target is like the perfect place to meet somebody because everybody's like in a good mood. Everybody like knows exactly what they're doing. So no, it's a perfect place.
Okay, so let's just get started. How old were you when you started acting?
Oh my gosh. Like when I first started acting ever, I think I was 10 and it was in a local like kids production play type thing. That my mom found, and because at that time they were trying to put me into all these sports things, or they were just trying to figure out what I was good at or what I had an interest in, and none of them stuck, as you could have imagined. So she found this like flyer at the library that was like, I forgot what the production company was called, but it was something to do with kids and doing a show, and I think it was about like pirates or something. So that kind of started the whole journey of being a theater kid, I guess.
I mean, come on, pirates, you can't get any better.
Yeah.
What inspired you to be a professional actor or take acting to the next level?
I just love the whole world of the entertainment industry. If I wasn't going to be an actor, I was going to do something else within, using my creative talents. But now what I love about it is I just love the collaborative process, especially working in TV film. You kind of get your material and you work on it alone, and then you get to go into a room and you do it all in one day. And I just really love that every day is different, yet it's going to be the same. You're going to stand on your mark. You're going to know where the cameras are. Like all of that stays the same, but the actual day to day of what you're doing or who you're interacting with changes, which I like.
I feel like it's perfect with somebody who is kind of got like ADHD because you always are doing something completely different.
Totally. Yeah.
And it's perfect. So what is your favorite memory on set? I know that like some of the cast members have been posting little videos of behind the scenes, and it seems like you guys always have fun, but do you have like one specific favorite memory from on set?
From on set, one specific memory. One of my favorite memories are when we just have a lot of downtime and it always turns into some sort of like cabaret type performance. Just because, and it's cool that we are a musical show. So obviously everybody on the show has these incredible voices and everybody like knows how to play all these instruments and stuff. And so it turns into like a real style professional, like cabaret type setting. Even though people are like still goofing off and having fun, but those are always my favorite because it's just, I feel like I was late to the theater kid experience. Like I didn't really start doing theater with like kids who wanted to do it forever until I was about a teenager. So it's really cool to now have that. And like the fact that they're all like professional singers and actors makes it even 10 times better. So those are always my favorite memories when we kind of just like break out into song and dance.
So another thing with like auditioning and stuff, you said that you haven't really been like in the theater world since a teenager. So do you like remember much of the auditions, especially Like, because you didn't come from the theater, so.
No, I did do theater. I've done theater my whole life. I just, I'm from a very small farm town. So it's like the theater I was doing there, the other kids were doing it because they kind of had to. Do you know what I mean? Like their parents are making them do these things. But it wasn't until I became like a teenager and started branching out to like the bigger like neighboring city where I got to be like real theater kids where like I actually like live and breathe this and I love it. Do you know what I mean? So that's what I meant by that. But sorry, continue.
Oh no, it's fine. I was just like, I don't know.
It kind of contradicted itself. I'm sorry. That was my fault. I confused everybody.
Oh no, it's fine. Do you remember any of the High School Musical, the musical auditions? And can you tell us about the process? Because I know a lot of the people who watch these, they do come from other jobs in the creative industry, or they're more theater. Not a lot of TV and film. So, what was the process like for High School Musical, the musical, the series?
The audition process for this show was actually fairly easy. It was one of the more easier ones that I had been a part of, just because it was all so quick. And I think from my first audition to actually being cast, it was a course of like 3 weeks. And so it was, and I think
really
it was really fast. And I think I had a total of like 5 auditions. And that some of those included like work sessions with the casting and with the writers. So yeah, it was just a quick process, and it was just 2 scenes, and my character didn't sing, wasn't a singing role, but they asked if I could, and of course I was like, yes, of course. Yeah, so yeah, it was just 2 songs, 2 scenes, and it stayed the same until all the way through the end. So it was fairly like easy. That's why I just say it was easy.
And for a lot of you who don't know, a lot of times it is not 3 weeks. It's normally like sometimes months, sometimes years. I know like Chris Hemsworth, it was like 3 years his first audition from being cast, and like West Side Story is a whole year process. It's absolutely insane. And so 3 weeks, that's great. That would have been, that was probably like a whirlwind of emotions too. Like, oh my God, I got another callback. Oh my God.
Yeah, and I think like at that specific time, I was also going in for a lot of other stuff. So I was like constantly, you know, just getting in all these auditions and being obviously very thankful that I was getting these opportunities to go in for all of these cool shows and stuff. But it wasn't until about like my 4th callback where I was like, oh, like I could actually get this. Like, because I like to audition for things and then forget they ever happened. So just to handle the rejection better. But yeah, so I was just like, oh, okay, so this actually might be happening. So those things are always cool. But yeah, it was a very quick process. I will say though, at the time after you like have all these auditions and then you go in for like your network audition, which is of course for all of the Disney executives. And so then that one, they have like a 10-day grace period from the time that they're saying like you're pinned for the role. They have 10 days to make the decision. And those are 10 business days. Those don't include weekends, by the way. And they waited until the 10th day to officially make the offer. And I was like, every day I was like, this could be it. This could be it. And then of course it like took forever. So I was like, no. So that part wasn't the fun part. And that part went slow, but everything outside of that went fairly quickly.
I hate when people say like business days, because then you're like, but I work over the weekends. Like,
Yeah,
what's
right?
a business day to me?
The loose term.
It's a loose term, yes. So how do you prepare, or how did you prepare for your audition, or is it like any different how you prepared for that audition versus how you prepare for auditions now, or has it stayed the same?
I think it relatively stays the same. I think when you are auditioning a lot, you're in good practice. And so my thing is I try to get memorization out of the way so I can just memorize it and then actually start working on it. But it's like a fine line between sometimes, especially if it's comedy, it's quicker to memorize and pick up cues and stuff. And so I'm just like, I kind of have an internal battle with myself sometimes where I'm like, how much work is too much to be working on 4 pages for a 3-minute audition? Do you know what I mean? So I try to like just find the balance of being just fully prepared, but you don't want to be over prepared just in case you get new pages the night before, or just in case you get a direction. You don't want to be like so married to what you prepared that you can't take a no in the room. So I think for me, I just tried to be as prepared as possible, but that like teetering that fine line of like not being too prepared. It's a weird process.
Do you follow a specific technique? I feel like that's like a very cliche thing to ask because I don't feel like I specifically do a specific technique. I feel like I'm a mixture of certain techniques. But do you have like a specific acting technique that you lean towards more than others?
If I'm feeling fancy, and granted, you're not always given the time to really work on audition sites. It's usually
Of
so
course.
quick, and the turnaround has to be so fast. And now with like self tapes, you're in charge of like getting everything together. So that adds like a whole new layer of work. It has its pros and its cons, but for me, I think just running it, like just rehearsing, is so helpful. And then also running it with, if you have like a friend that like you trust to give you notes or something, or an acting coach, those always tend to be the auditions I kind of feel like I slay no matter what the outcome is. I'm just like, okay, that was great. And I think it's just because I had the rehearsal time. So that, but you're not always granted that time. So but it's, yeah, I guess that would be my process, is just rehearsing and running it. But again, you don't want to run it too much that you like kind of are stale by the time the audition comes. So I think it's just knowing your limits, and yeah, I don't know.
When not on set or preparing for an audition or preparing for on set, what do you like to do?
What do I like to do? I watch a lot of reality television. That is like my pastime. I um I don't know. I like to keep busy. I feel like I am always meeting a friend for lunch. That's like my favorite pastime, is just be like, let's go to lunch. But also just kind of preparing for the times that I am working. And so whether that means like when you have this downtime, you're kind of catching up on life and trying to do as much as you can in this downtime, whether that means seeing people or doing stuff to your house that you've been like putting off forever. So it's just stuff like that that I kind of, when I have the downtime, it's always being used to like catch up with life for when I do go back to work. Because it's like, then that's your full life for like the next couple of months. And it really does take over no matter how much you try to like have like boundaries with it and be like, that's work and this is life. It always bleeds together. So just relaxing. Right now, I'm definitely relaxing in this downtime. So, and I'm enjoying that part.
When do you start filming season 4?
We
Is
have
that something you can
no
disclose?
official word or anything. I know the writers just went back to work. So, but fairly soon, I would hope so. So we'll see.
And it's funny because you can't like do like house chores or meet up with people on set because you're like far away from your home. You're in a different state. So there's
Yeah,
like
yeah.
no
I
way
mean,
to do
luckily
that.
this year, this season 3, we were filming in Los Angeles, so that was
Oh.
nice to kind of have that. But yeah, in Salt Lake City, and that's also another different thing too, is because now you're on location, so you're like removed from your home, and you're trying to like, it's just you're constantly. I feel like, oh, like I'm a ping pong machine. I'm like just like constantly like being like from one side to the other, but I love it, so I'm happy.
Yeah, acting is something that I absolutely love. It's my dream, but I also love to work with different foundations. And
Mm.
like when you get an audition that's or like a job that's out of state, it's kind of hard to work with foundations. And luckily, I was talking with Make a Wish earlier this month, and I'm like, I'm finally the age that I can be a wish granter. But if I'm on set, on location, what do I do? And they're like, luckily for you, COVID just happened and everything's online. And I'm
Yeah.
like, yes, at least I can take them with me. Well, not literally, but like
No, totally.
computer.
One thing I've learned about like being in this acting world and the constant changing of schedules is that it will always work out. Like no matter what's going on and how stressed, like just know it will work out. So and people are most likely willing to accommodate, like her saying, like, you know, you can take it online. So yeah, don't stress out about that. That
Yeah, no.
whatever.
So one of my favorite scenes of yours is actually like your first scene where the principal asks you, it's not the complete line, but I know I'm going to fudge this up, but it's he says something like isn't there somewhere you're supposed to be? And then you look at him and you go, Broadway.
Yeah.
That's like such an iconic line. And I know that some of your co-stars have been on Broadway. Julia Lester is either still on or just came off of
We
Into the
will
Woods.
open on Broadway, I think, next month, I think.
Nice.
Yeah.
So she's in Into the Woods, and some of your other co-stars have been in Dear Evan Hansen and other things on Broadway. And you have talked about interest about being on Broadway. So if you could do any Broadway show, what would it be and why?
Oh my gosh. That is just such a tricky question because I would literally do anything. So it's hard to say, but I would love to, like, the longer I think about it, and the more I feel like that would fit me, is I would love to like gender bend something. I think like even with like the revival of Company and like Matt Doyle like doing like gender bending that role and like how it was received, I would love to do something like that, something that's just very Broadway and different, but like allowing me to put my own spin on it, or doing something completely original. I'm truly open to anything and when it comes to Broadway.
Yes. So East High is in Salt Lake City, and you have traveled basically the entire world with your cast. Where has been your favorite place to travel to?
Oh my gosh. I think when we did our New York press for season 1, that was so much fun because it just took me back to like those, I did like marching band and stuff, and it like took me back to those days where you're like all just like flown to these like little hotels and you're like just all clumped together and just like hanging out and having fun. So that was my favorite because we also got to like experience New York City together, so that was fun.
Do you have a favorite place that you visited in New York City?
Ooh, I don't think so. I mean, just like all the hits.
I'm very much a nerd, and when I go to New York City, I want to do like all of the tourist-y things to do.
Oh yeah.
Like I would love to do like a Dash and Lily's Book of Dares like scavenger hunt and go to
Oh
all
my
those
gosh.
places. Or like Friends. I would love to go on like a Friends scavenger hunt and go to all those places.
Oh yeah.
So June is Pride Month, and your character Carlos was one of the 2 people to share the first gay kiss on any Walt Disney platform, and this is a huge step in equality and acceptance. And that's something that I absolutely love about Disney nowadays, especially in the past few years. You can really see almost everybody on screen, like whether sexuality, race, personality, which is something that I absolutely love. And so my question is, how have you seen this step impact the Disney LGBTQA community?
I think it has led to a lot more authentic storytelling, which has been great. And you know, I feel like now, especially this year, like the door is open, and now it's kind of like, so what's next? Like, what else? What other stories can we tell? How can we just let, you know, people know that we're here and that we also, our stories are also valid, and it doesn't just always have to be about, you know, the bullied gay kid, even though that's like still a thing that's happening. That isn't everybody's experience with that. That wasn't my experience growing up. And so to be able to now share these like positive gay experiences, it's exciting. And so I'm just hoping that leads to just more opportunities, not just for myself, obviously that would be amazing, but you know, for a whole new crop of queer actors who are coming into the space, and hopefully it's just a little easier for them than, you know, it was for me or even the people that were coming before me.
That's great. So another thing with Pride Month is a lot of people like to celebrate, especially in Los Angeles. I have seen so many things, and I'm so proud of everybody for doing like parades and different shows, and I'm just so happy to see that type of stuff because a lot of other places in the world you don't see a lot of those things. So I'm very happy to live in Los Angeles for that reason.
Yes.
So how do you celebrate Pride Month, and how can we as the audience celebrate?
Ooh, I think right now Pride Month just has this, it kind of went corporate. So now it's like all just about like, a big party. But I think for me, it's just about doing stuff like this, sharing information and just normalizing the queer experience. That's kind of the way that I like to celebrate Pride Month. And, if it means, I don't know, like watching the birdcage on a Friday night during this month, I'm going to do it. So, yeah. And how would I like other people to celebrate, or how should we all celebrate? I just think for anyone, and I don't think this is just like limited to like the queer experience, but I think a whole month to kind of check in with yourself and be prideful of who you are and what you're representing and what you're showing to the world. I think that's amazing.
Yeah, of course. So Disney, for so many people, including myself, is a company that has impacted so many lives, and a lot of people have grown up watching. What was your favorite movie of Disney's growing up, and has it changed from present day?
Oh my gosh. Well, I grew up in like the Renaissance era of Disney. So it was like a lot of Aladdin and Little Mermaid. And I guess I was like on the later end of that. So I don't know. I really love Aladdin, but I also like love Hercules. And I love like any Disney princess thing. So that's a hard one for me to pick. But I guess if I had to pick one, I think I can always sit down and watch Aladdin.
Do you relate to any Disney character like more than another?
Ooh, I kind of have always felt like I related the most to Ariel from The Little Mermaid, where she's like kind of a part of this world that she lives in, but she's always wondering what else is out there. And, the people around her are saying it's dangerous, like don't go out there. And she like finds the courage to like just go out there and figure out what the other worlds are and finds out that it's like not as scary as people have told her.
So, I absolutely love Disney productions, as you can tell, because I obviously have been talking about Disney a lot. The Disney lot is beautiful. I live like right next to the Disney lot, and every time we go anywhere and we have to go by Disney, I'm always like, Mom, can you just circle around once? Just a circle. And we do. Did any of, sorry, did you film any of the High School Musical, the musical, the series episodes or clips on the Disney lot, or was it just on location?
We were on location. We didn't film anything there, but we have done a lot of like cast meetups there, or if you're called into the office to talk about a specific thing, you'll most likely go to the Disney lot, or yeah, but it is a beautiful lot, and it's so every time I'm there, I like kind of take a little longer walking back to my car so I could like just kind of like mosey around. But no, I love that lot, but no, we did not film anything there.
I'm so excited for like when they start opening up tours again, because one of my favorite things to do in Los Angeles is the Warner Brothers tour.
Okay.
And we just moved here over COVID time, and so that's when they shut down the tours. And I
Oh.
was so sad because I was like, I want to do the tour so bad. So
Yeah.
hopefully one of these days. So as an actor, there are obviously a lot of people who have inspired your journey. Who is an actor that inspires you?
An actor that inspires me. I mean, it's constantly changing, and I find different inspiration through different people and things that they're doing. For me, in terms of like acting, I've always admired the people that are able to marry the worlds of like Broadway and TV film. So if you think like Sean Hayes or like a Kristen Chenoweth, who have done basically all of the big entertainment mediums at a very like successful level. I think those are always the careers that I'm just like, oh, that's the ultimate dream.
Yeah, and those worlds are colliding more and more. We were
Yeah,
watching
which is
the
nice.
Tonys. Yeah, I was watching the Tonys with my mom, and she was like, "Does it seem like a lot more film actors are doing Broadway right now?" And I'm like, "I don't think so, but I guess."
Yeah.
But like with Hugh Jackman, the Music Man, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, it was really nice to like see a couple of faces that
Yeah,
I
totally.
know. Yeah. So, not a lot of people know this, but you started out on shows like Modern Family, Jesse Tyler Ferguson, I literally just talked about him, that's weird,
Yeah.
and Will and Grace. But what is something that you would want to do next if you, I know as an actor you can't really like say, this is what I want to do next. And,
Yeah.
but if in some dream world you could figure out what you want to do next, what would you want to do? Another TV show, a film, rom-com, superhero?
Yeah,
Um,
I mean, selfishly, I want to say everything. And I think now as an actor, you're kind of like granted the opportunity to really dip your toes in as many different genres and things that you want to do. But yesterday, I went to the Oscar Museum for the first time here in LA,
love that
and
museum.
it was so nice. I'm like so glad that exists. And I was like, I kind of want to be in a movie. And just to like hear the process of like every creator's process, whether that was like casting or costuming or set design. I was like, it's just, I love all of the thought that goes into like every corner just to make one thing. So I would love to do a movie. I also really love working on a television show and having a story extend past 2.5 hours. So I don't know, I think that if I had like my way, I would get to go on and do something similar to like Schitt's Creek. That's like a small family ensemble, but that's like really fun and silly. So I mean, I don't know. We'll see.
Um, so what is your favorite memory or coolest experience that you've had meeting someone, going to a certain place, etc.?
Oh gosh. There's been so many, especially that have come from doing the show, but I think the things that I've gotten to do that I had so like really dreamed of as a kid and have gotten to do now have been the fun things like every Christmas morning waking up and watching the Disney Christmas parade and thinking like, oh my gosh, like how cool it would be to like be on that one day. And then it actually happened, or being obsessed with like the Disney Mania compilation CDs growing up and being like, oh my gosh, I would love to remix the Disney song, and then like getting to do that. So it's just things like that when kind of like when you're in it, it's just like another day at work. And so you're just like, okay. But then when I look back at it, I'm like, oh my gosh, I've checked off so many like things that I had wanted to do as a kid. It's really cool.
Have you found, I don't know if you did this as a kid or if it's only like my family, weird list makers, but did you ever like make a list when you were little of like all of the things you wanted to accomplish in life and been able to tick off some of them?
Oh my gosh, I'm sure somewhere there's a list that exists somewhere of like a kid Frankie being like, this is everything that I want to do when I grow up. But yeah, I'm sure there's a list somewhere out there.
Um, so what are your hobbies aside from acting and singing? And I mean, that's not a hobby, that's your career, but like, what are some of your hobbies that you enjoyed doing?
Some of my hobbies, I really, I mean, I don't know. That's always a hard one because like once you get older, you're like, do I actually have hobbies? And then you're kind of like, do other people have hobbies that I don't know about? But I living in Los Angeles, I love to be outside. And so I would say that's a hobby of just making sure I see sunlight at some point during the day. And you know, Los Angeles is great for that like indoor outdoor feel, so I love that. I also just love, I don't know, that's such a tough question. I don't know. I don't know what I do all day.
That's fine. You do stuff like this.
Yeah, you know,
This is a hobby.
yeah, I guess it's a hobby, yeah.
So you previously answered this, but if you weren't an actor, what would you want to do? You said that you would be something in the entertainment industry, but say the entertainment industry wasn't a thing, which hopefully it always is a thing, but say it wasn't a thing, what would you want to do? Like a regular day job?
Yeah, most of my family works in education. So like they work for they're like teachers or paras or administrative. So I think I kind of always had this like never definitive plan, but kind of like this loose plan that if something were to go awry, I would always just end up a teacher somewhere. So I guess that I think I would be like a English teacher somewhere.
Nice. We definitely need more teachers in the world. So,
Amen.
if you had one piece of advice that you would give to an aspiring actor or really anybody in the entertainment industry, what would it be?
Um, I it's tricky. I don't really like giving advice too much just in case something goes wrong and I never want to be blamed for it. It's just like you never want to pick the restaurant when you're with a group of friends just in case it's bad. And then like you like, although no one, if you had nice friends, no one's gonna blame you, but you think like this is all my fault. So I think something that I would tell myself as like an inspiring actor is that you just like try to be as the authentic self that you want to present in every audition possible, and don't do what you think casting wants you to do, and don't be scared to try things, and really find your place in this industry. Do you know what I mean? So yeah, I would say just be yourself. And I know that sounds so cliche, and it really is hard to do, especially when you're put into an environment where you know the stakes are really high, and so like be yourself and just like keep going. And the hard part that you think is in the world of acting, like the rejection, is actually probably the easiest part. The hardest part in acting is the waiting, and so just get used of sitting in the wait, and don't put so much pressure and anxiety on yourself to like be all these things. What's meant for you is meant for you, and just yeah, just be yourself and have a good time, have fun. Oh my gosh, this like whole career should be like fun, so just have as much fun as possible.
Well, it was absolutely amazing meeting you, but if people want to follow you or follow your career path, how would they do so?
I am on all the platforms very sporadically, but I am on Instagram at Mr. Frankie A. Rodriguez, and then I'm on Twitter at Mr. Frankie AR, and then I'm on TikTok, but I couldn't tell you what my username is. I know it's some version of like Frankie Rodriguez, but I can't remember if I put like 3 E's or something.
Look up his name if it looks like
yeah,
his name.
if it comes up. But I kind of forget I have that app. So, but yeah, I'm on all 3 of them.
Oh, it's fine. Me too. I was like, I should maybe start a TikTok because like people are telling me to, but
yeah,
I keep on forgetting that I have it.
it's tricky. I'm not a video editor, so you got to give me time, and I just haven't had the time to like sit down and like play with the app. So at some point, maybe.
Thank you, Frankie, and thank you all for watching so much. Remember, June is Pride Month, and we are raising money for the Trevor Project. So if you do find it in your heart to donate, please visit www.performancewithpurposefoundation.com. Every single penny counts. Thank you so much again for watching, and go Wildcats!